The word of the day today is repeat. Because right now, starting today, going through the draft and all the moves that Howie Roseman makes between now and then have to have the repeat in mind. Yes, he has to draft. Yes, you don't, quote, mortgage the future. But when you're at the mountaintop and the Eagles are the only team there, everyone else is chasing you, and they're doing everything in their power to do so. Whether it's Buffalo Bills signing Josh Allen to a record-breaking contract, whether it's the Steelers going to get DK Metcalf to try to get better. They were already a playoff team. They're trying to take it to the next level. Whether it's the Steelers, whether it's the Seattle making trades, getting rid of guys so they can retool. Oakland, everybody's chasing the Eagles. And right now when you're at the top, your fight is to stay at the top. Stay at the top. And right now, it seems like fans are not necessarily, in my opinion, on the same page with this show. We don't know who's correct, but I can tell you that on this show we recognize the importance of the draft, but Isaiah Rodgers gone. Okay, if you think Keely Ringo can step in, fine. But with him and Slay gone, you got to be right about that. You got to be right about that. If Milton Williams is gone, and maybe you think a Jomo can step in, and if you're right, great. But if a Jomo can't, then what? Same thing with Sweat. We'll probably go at some point during the show today. All the moves have to have repeat in mind. And that is why on this show we're saying, yes, the draft's important, but you cannot expect last year's draft to happen every single year. You cannot expect last year's draft, not just for the Eagles, for anybody, every single year. They're going to have to mix in some veterans. But right now, what we've been hearing all day, in the morning, middays, what we've been hearing about is just young. And young is fine for 2 years from now. Young once in a blue moon is fine for year to year. But you cannot expect your first-round pick, your second-round pick, and your third-round pick to contribute year one every single year. For the Eagles to repeat, and that has to be the goal. Anything other than that is a goal. It's a failure. If they have any other goal, they're going to have to mix in some free agents. And those free agents are far more likely to play year one than rookies. Last year was an anomaly, not just in Eagles history, in NFL history. Doing that 2 years in a row is too much to ask, even Howie Roseman. So I'm interested in what they do today because, yes, we'll get to the draft in April, but they're going to need to replace some guys soon, Ricky Bo, if they want to win again.
Yeah, lightning in a bottle is what I called last year. You're not going to get three guys that are going to make an impact on your team in the draft every single year. That doesn't happen. I mean, you're lucky if you get one that's going to make an impact. You think back to last year. You got Quinyon Mitchell, starter. You got Cooper DeJean, starter. You got Jalen Hunt, who progressed all season long and has gotten better throughout the year. That's probably not going to happen this year. And the one thing you're going to have to do, we heard little moves from Howie. That's the quote that he had, I believe it was last week. Little moves. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it may be a move just to fit somebody in for a year, maybe 2 years. I just don't think they're going for that big splash. Right now, what we're seeing these are the big splashers. They're coming in, giving 3-year deals, big money. That's what you're going to see early on in free agency in the NFL because teams are desperate. The Eagles are not in a desperate situation right now. They just want to get the right pieces to put back into place to see if they can't get back to the Super Bowl and win it. But for those people out there who are thinking draft, it's not that simple. It's not that easy. And it rarely happens the way it did from last year. But come on, think back to this for a second. You go Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, you're thinking, all right, well, maybe DeJean will be ready mid-season if he's even lucky because of a knee injury that he had. No, DeJean comes in. He's only a couple weeks behind. He gets right into the flow of things. He's starting by week 5. Or week 6, excuse me. That, to me, is impressive in itself. I look at everything else that kind of happened to the Eagles last year as falling into place. Yes, Howie did have a good eye for finding a guy from Toledo that could play corner, and he could play it well. But he turned into a piece of Velcro? You did. Come on. Nobody expected that to happen. Even in mid-season, you didn't expect that to happen. But it did happen for the Eagles this year. Look for more of a splash in the free agent market than in the draft.
But you're going to have to see something. Just so you know, if you're putting all the eggs in just replacing guys via the draft, you are making a mistake. in our opinion. But we'll discuss it. 610-632-0975. We'll keep everybody abreast of what's going on. Again, as far as Eagles free agents, the one we know for sure, Isaiah Rodgers to the Vikings, he'll start there. That's why he went there. For all we know, the Eagles may have met that money, and he goes, well, am I going to definitely start? They probably said, well, you'll compete with Kelly Ringo. The Vikings likely said, yeah, you'll start. And that's hence why he goes there. And he'll hit the market once again, still in his 20s in the case of Isaiah Rodgers. And it appears Milton Williams going, no word at all yet about the Eagles adding anyone. And every report says that the Eagles and Mekhi Becton are far apart on a contract. So we'll keep everybody abreast of what's going on, especially anything that affects the Eagles. And we'll talk about, does Howie Roseman have so much cachet with you guys that you're not going to put any demands on him? Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Really appreciate it. If you want more of this content, make sure you like and subscribe. And you know you can do that kind of over here if you want more of the best show ever.